Welcome to the Pro Cheerleading Podcast, hosted by Mhkeeba
and Brittany, two former NFL cheerleaders discussing hot topics in the pro cheerleading industry
and revealing the truth behind the Poms.
Happy New Year and surprise!
We're back.
A little bonus episode for you for the new year.
We missed you all too much, so here we are.
Yeah, exactly.
What are we drinking?
We're drinking Moscato 2017. Cheers.
18.
Well, that's what it says on the bottle.
Oh, I was like, what are we talking? It's our New Year's episode 19. It's very good. I like it.
You do? Is it cold enough? Could be colder? I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I don't really
Came
like
from
it.
my fridge.
I like it. We won't get it. We don't have a bottle this time, you guys. It's just a glass.
Mm-hmm. Because it's another celebration, so we're not always going to drink. I don't know. Maybe we will for season 2.
Let us know if you like the alcoholic version of our podcast. But no, this is to toast to...
Oh,
God dang it.
It's just her first sip, I promise.
Goodness gracious. But we wanted to toast 2018, right? And then...
You guys are going to be counting down into the new year, so we had our top 5 countdown for you today.
Yes, of all of the wonderful occurrences in our space, in the pro cheerleading industry, what are the top 5 things that we thought really should make our countdown list? Some big things happened.
Right. But first, some cheer chat. Where were we last night, Mhkeeba?
We went to the final home game of the Seattle Seahawks season, thanks to our girl, Monica. She was so sweet to give us tickets.
Yeah, thank you.
She called and I sounded like a frog, but she offered tickets and I'm like...
Morning of.
Mm-hmm. But no, so much fun.
Thanks for taking me, Mhkeeba.
Of
and
course.
Thanks, Monica.
Thank you so much. It was great to see the girls and, I know what that feels like. Obviously, that last game where you know, the playoffs might be happening, but if you don't have home field advantage, it's like, this is your last chance to dance, man. So, shout out to the girls. I think they definitely...
They did great.
They did super, super great. Super great. Somebody said that in my job. I love it.
super great.
Anyway, one of the things we noticed, right, at the game was just how intricate the choreography has been this year because of the fact that they are not wearing high-heeled boots anymore. The crappy, high-heeled boots from hell.
Do you think it's the chicken or the egg? Do you think she was going to... Well, she changed the boots. The director changed the boots. But I'm wondering if it was like, I want to change the boots to have more dancey choreography or... wait, what would be the other option?
Or just like, I want to change the look of the boots.
Right. And now we can have more...
I would imagine that it might have been... I want to be able to do more things.
And have the Seagulls be known as like a really technical dance team.
Yeah, I think, what do you think? Before the boot conversion, I think we did pretty dang on good in the boots.
I kind of hated the boots because, as we've talked about, I'm not like a classically trained dancer.
Right.
So busting out those leaps and kicks weren't too bad in the boots, but like the double turns and leaping onto your heel, that's like an ankle snapper for sure. Because you're landing in heels. Can you imagine that?
And
all these heel classes, do they do leaps?
No.
I've seen like quadruple turns, but that's a whole other story.
That's so true. Leaps are a little odd. And then we're dancing on turf. We're dancing in the elements. It could be rain. All kinds of
We've
stuff.
never had snow, but it's been pretty cold and like sideways rain at us.
It's been extra. And you got all these things going on. You got your outfit, the uniform. I did feel like at times with those like pants that we would wear with the boots, my pants, if they started to get wet, they tended to drag down, and so my boots, my pants leg is catching on the boot heel. I feel like they were a little bit of a liability at times.
Yeah.
But you're right, doing leaps in those high heel
Those
boots
always freaked me out. My leap was never the greatest, but it definitely wasn't good in those boots.
Yeah.
And people were shocked that we actually danced a whole game in those. Those weren't just promotional footwear, like... We were dancing for 4 hours plus in those.
That's why I would like, for preseason games when we were in I love those pants, nobody else did, but the sexy white pants.
You're the only one that looked good in them, that's why.
Gosh, I love those pants, but it was because we got to dance in our freaking tennis shoes, and I was like, this is
true.
Just to get a break from like first half where you're like in the halter or whatever's going on, and then you finally get to change into those pants and tennis shoes, but
And we wore those pants too, for some reason, with our rain jackets. So that was another, positive to the raining is sometimes you change into your outfit for the rain and it would be tennis shoes. So you're like, oh my goodness, finally.
Thank
but
God.
there was a season, I think it was your last season, if not both of my last seasons, we never wore shoes at the game. Not once.
Oh yeah, we did not get into our tennis shoes my last year.
Yeah.
I was not happy about that.
Yeah, that's not fun.
But, they definitely, the choreography is way more intricate. It's super impressive. It almost looks a little NBA-ish, I think.
Yeah.
It's a lot going on, lots of ripples, lots of level changes, like the choreo. I just think it's almost freeing. Like, oh gosh, now we can do, blah, 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 blah.
Right. But I was going to say, too, that, like, our first season, this is getting way too into the boot styles, but we're
talking boots.
Yeah, we're talking boots right now. This is Cheer Chat. So, the toe was round, and the heel was pretty thick and clunky. It was fun. That was better.
Clown boots. Yes,
they weren't very flattering. I like what we upgraded to. I think it was the year that I didn't make it back on. You guys upgraded, but the heel was skinnier. It was like cut in half.
Oh, it was super small.
Yeah, it was like half the size, less of a platform. So I definitely would misstep a lot more in those.
I think it was higher,
and it was higher.
It was definitely higher. Man, because if you think about rest of NFL cheerleaders, from what I can see in photo galleries, like some of them have like a smaller heel. I know I've seen girls that look like they're in the same boots that we had, but it definitely seems to be more of a trend of a shorter heel. Like
right.
They're
a little cowboy booty. Just that style where they're kind of loose around the ankle, and then they have like just a thicker heel, but it's not lifting you up.
Almost like what do you call those? Wedgie?
Yeah, almost like a wedge.
Almost like that.
But we noticed that we think because the boots are tight to the whole calf,
right,
and almost to the knee, it almost looks like, when you stare at them long enough, it almost looks like the girls are wearing socks. You pointed that out, and I was like tilting my head like, oh my gosh, yes.
It does. Because it's so form-fitting, it just...
And they're just white.
And they're just white. It very much looks like a part of their leg, like how socks would be. And then, it was just interesting, like the tickets in our section for CL family friends or whatever is in the 100 level, but everybody on the squad just ends up looking pretty compact and short in those boots, because it cuts off a lot of their leg, and then it's just there's no heel to kind of elevate, and so everybody looked pretty munched in size.
Squad 1 looked like, oh, they have a kid squad now, that sounds mean, but
it just shrinks everybody.
It does. It shrinks everybody.
Squad 4 doesn't look like Squad 4,
no.
And this is based on height, guys. Squad 1 would be the shorter girls, and Squad 4 the tallest squad, but it almost makes everybody on the same level too, I would say, because the squad, except for probably Squad 1, where they're really, really petite girls, but it definitely it robs everybody of height.
Yeah, and I felt like I needed that, honestly. I feel like a little bit of height makes you look slimmer, and
what's more flattering?
It is, and not like the girls look bad. I just personally, I would kind of prefer our old boots, even though they were such a pain
to dance in.
And like you said, it's like a rite of passage. Like, you gotta freaking dance in those and do a double turn. And
if
you can kill it in those plastic,
you can do anything. Girls.
Yeah, costume boots. You can literally do anything.
And I think they must wear them for some promos, so they probably, can at least appreciate the difference and try to imagine what it'd be like. Because when you went to Hong Kong, you're like stomping around all of Hong Kong in those boots.
Yeah, we did their parade, which I don't know how long it was, but it's you basically make a huge rectangle and it's a couple blocks, and we wore our whites and we wore our boots on the cement, and we had a crazy techno dance that we did 3 or 4 times.
That dance was like
almost
legit,
in a row.
Crazy, action packed.
It was insane.
How you guys did that,
and it was actually hot there. It was kind of a bad situation. Maybe we'll have some story time next season about all of our traveling adventures.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, those are not, like when we did Torchlight Parade, we did it in our tennis shoes, so we weren't actually stomping on concrete in them. But no matter what, the heel, and whether it's turf, concrete, whatever, they were challenging to dance in. But maybe for the girls with the boots now, if they were a little shorter so they didn't come up as high on the knee.
Give them more leg.
A little more leg action. And
maybe not tight to the skin. Wouldn't you agree? Because that's what, to me, is making it look sock-like.
And they need a logo or something. Break up the white. Break up the white.
Put a hawk head on there.
Put a little... Because that's cute. All the teams that have, like, the team logo on the boot. I think it just makes it more part of the uniform look.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I hope they're comfortable to dance in.
Yeah.
For the girls. I mean, I think we heard that they're kind of very fit to their
custom
foot.
made.
Yeah, and all that good stuff. Sounds
interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like because they're higher quality and potentially like leather or some other material, you probably only have one pair. Yeah, and plastic, PVC or whatever it's called.
What was our crap? I mean,
I don't know.
We would like fix our boots throughout the year. They got scuffed with like nail polish remover.
Yeah, you can take off any scuffs.
Yeah. And with leather, that probably
they're costume boots. So the go-go boots you would buy for like,
right.
you know, a 70s costume at the costume store.
Well, hopefully it's a better situation and an upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
We definitely notice, obviously, the difference in what you're able to do, obviously, in shorter boots, but everybody looks short.
Yeah.
And you know me, I'm kind of short, but I have a complex about being short, so
Right.
I would have probably had a really hard time with that. Like, where is my... Because I have long legs for my height. I think that's why I'm in denial, but if it were covering up my whole calf and it's just my thighs, you know what I'm saying? I mean,
yeah.
I love my thighs, but that just... I would have felt this. It wouldn't have necessarily been the right look,
right?
On my body anyway.
Yeah,
but that's why I'm not out there. So I guess who cares?
Yeah,
but it was cheer chat worthy because it was. Looking at
we
the
noticed
game
it, but they looked great and
a
lot of energy, and it's always sad but fun to dance your last game in the stadium. It's always fingers crossed for that Super Bowl appearance. So you never know. We could do it.
Know. Wild card can get hella wild, but for all the girls who's they're. It's so sad because it's like your season essentially wraps. You don't need to have practices unless you're having home games, and so it goes by so fast. So hopefully everybody lives it up to the fullest. You have 10 games unless you got some home field advantage.
Right.
I think I am already.
Uh-oh, really?
You're not even sitting.
Did you have breakfast?
No.
Mhkeeba.
That's okay. It helps, speed the process along. Anyway, no, I'm fine. I'm good.
Shake it off.
Got this.
Okay.
Well, shout out to all the girls who cheered their butts off all season long. You have more time on your hands. You start the new year off all productive and stuff, and give yourself some time, catch up with friends, spend time with your families.
Go on vacation.
Get
ready for auditions.
Travel, seriously.
Those are going to be here any second too, which is exciting.
Yes, right around March time frame, you definitely get the itch again to start preparing. So we will have episodes coming up, season 2 and 3, covering audition prep stuff. So stay tuned.
Yeah. You ready for our countdown?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Let's start with some shameless plug.
Hey.
But we only have 5. We're just going to keep it hopefully short for you guys.
Not, yeah.
I know. Yeah, totally. But number 5 is launching our podcast. So give us some stats, Mhkeeba, on, just shout us out.
Let's just break it down because we're so new, obviously. To podcasting, right? But for us to come up with the idea end of August, literally, I think it was August 29th.
Like it was even later. Was it?
When
August?
I called you with the crazy idea.
Okay.
Yeah. And then for us to launch 2 months later, after
True.
much research and figuring out what the hell we were doing, with, that was October 31st, and then for basically the month of November and the month of December, we had about 1,000 downloads each month, so I think that's pretty dang on good considering. Like most people, when you launch a podcast, unless you're already famous or you're already part of a radio network, it's probably, it's not like you're coming with fans already. Like, who are we? Mm-hmm.
People kind of got to seek us out, and we're trying to be active on social media just so people can who are they, and be interested.
But it's been word of mouth, and obviously all the wonderful support of everybody who's been listening. So we love you. Thank you so freaking much. But I think that's pretty good.
It is really good.
We'd love to see that growth continue. I think we're still figuring some things out, but we're going to be spreading the word about what we're doing. We have so many exciting things for season 2 coming up, but it's just, we thought that was number 5, or definitely making the countdown because, while the Dallas Cowboy Cheerleaders do have a podcast for their team, this is the first podcast of this type that's covering pro cheerleading as a whole, and so we made history technically.
Yeah.
Let's just yay.
So yay. So that's all.
But thank you also to just all the listeners for helping it be such a success, because if it weren't for you, it'd be me and Brittany talking to ourselves.
Yeah, which many people have told us that, like, you guys need to, start a podcast, or you guys are so funny, or just in general, like, the pedestrian crew getting together and talking about just what we love, which is dancing and, being part of the team. So it's been really fun, and we appreciate all the awesome feedback, and we have a few reviews, but keep them coming, positive or negative. Just let us know what you guys think.
For sure. I mean, I love that it's getting pretty juicy. But just for, everybody who's been giving us feedback, we value it so much, and we're definitely open to it. We'll probably do a little bit more revealing, like, what we're going to talk about next, just so that people can get a chance to give some feedback, et cetera, et cetera. So we're excited.
Yeah, we got a game plan.
Oh, yeah.
And we're really excited. I'm really excited for
Well, what did we come up with?
So one of the things that we're going to do, and we're actually going to post this week, is called Wonder Woman Wednesday.
Love it.
So, yeah, I think you came up with it because you were like, what's that theme song for Wonder Woman?
Okay, so I'm old, so it's not like Wonder Woman, the movie that came out a few years ago. This is like
1970.
Oh, shit. Really? That old? Damn. But back in the diggity day, it was just like some Wonder Woman theme song. And like, this is when, you just wanted the whole outfit. You wanted to be Wonder Woman. But, we have some awesome women that make up our industry. And, we were debating, like, as a podcast, how can we bring life to these women where we can talk about them and not just, like, going off of their bio, but just, like, really getting a feel for who makes up these squads. Like, when we think about our team, there were just a huge variety of women, careers, backgrounds, interests, super talented women, not just on the field, but just outside of it. So we wanted to be able to, like, create an avenue where we can shout people out, but also others can too, right?
Right, yeah. If you have like a teammate or even yourself and you just feel like maybe you're busting your butt out there, or you're involved in like a nonprofit or some kind of charity, or none of that. Maybe you're just a single mom of two and like
bringing it.
Yeah, and just bringing it. And like, I also cheer for the Colts or something. Like, we would love to give you kind of the spotlight and a shout out.
Because we know how difficult it can be sometimes to kind of get, not that we all are like attention whores or anything, but
but you're overlooked with even in your team sometimes. Like, there's Pro Bowl selection, that's super exciting. There's squad leaders, like the 4 squads, there's squad leaders in that.
Right.
Every team has their own like little program, or sometimes they announce
different recognition.
Right, like Rookie of the Year or Cheerleader of the Year kind of thing. And when there's a team of 30 girls, you're not going to really get the shout out that you deserve or appreciation.
Right.
So
it makes you want to kind of just the unsung hero type thing. Like, who are the quiet, kicking ass people that probably deserve a worthy Wonder
And it's
Woman
so cool
mention.
to be like, oh my gosh, I'm tagged in something. What is it? And it's basically like, you're awesome, keep it up. We appreciate you.
Yeah. And so we do need like little crowd participation points because the bios are always so dry. Hello, when I was looking at some of the team sites, not all of them even include bios on the girls
It's just
anymore.
a picture of
just
them,
a freaking roster picture, which, can we not do that?
Yeah, it's going a little backwards.
It is. It's just like, and can we collect more information that is worthwhile, not just the tenure on the team and where they're from and
It should
hobbies.
say their name, where they went to college or something, and then like every girl has to be like, the most interesting thing about me is
something.
Like, it doesn't need to be that long. Does that really take up that much space? No.
So we're a little gonna, for the teams that don't have rosters that have bios, we're gonna have to really rely on you guys, or just some extra. Maybe they picked it up in their, team media where they actually decided to do an article about one of the girls. But we're gonna be doing our research and picking a Wow Woman Wednesday. Well, that's not what it's called.
Well, we thought about that, but that's already taken, so that's why we came up with Wonder Woman Wednesday.
Because the Atlanta Falcons cheerleaders, we noticed that. I'm going to follow them on Twitter, and I thought it was awesome that they were trying to spotlight their girls and try to give them props for the things that they do, as far as their careers and things like that. So we didn't want to steal that thunder.
Right.
Kind of like Wonder Woman better.
Wednesday.
I'm just kidding.
It's cool.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah. So
stay tuned and listen to the theme song because we're going to have to play it.
Yep.
Educate some of these newbies, millennials out there what music sounded like in the 70s.
And anybody's welcome to submit semi-pro, like hockey girls, Anybody, lacrosse, anybody and everybody, even if they're not even a dancer.
Shout out your director too. Like,
yeah,
if
that's
she's
true.
just like, you know, new. I mean, there's been like some turnover, I would say, in the NFL directors, at least from what I've been able to tell. So just shout out whoever. It could be the assistant director. It could be whoever. Yep. Anybody in our world, male or female.
True.
Let us
Wonder
know.
Man Wednesday.
Wonder Man. Well, we'll have to come up with something for, like, what's the man day? Monday? Man Crush Monday?
Oh, yeah, Man Crush Monday.
Who came up with this shit?
Man Killing It? No.
Oh,
We'll figure it out.
We'll come up with something.
There's only 3 so far.
Oh. Okay.
Unless you count, like, some NBA teams have, like, their dance crew. And
they do.
Yeah.
And some, I mean, the Wizards have male dancers,
just anything
too.
and everything, you know?
Just, yeah. We'll give it a remix if it's not a woman. How about that?
Number 4 is Kayla Morris for the San Francisco 49ers kneeling.
Yes.
So that was a huge moment for us, and we were super excited and really trying to figure out who that girl was.
Oh my gosh, she was a
that girl? Na, 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 na. Okay, we'll cut that out.
I love Eve. No, but Eve's the best.
Yeah. And she finally followed us back.
That's right.
But it kind of fizzled out. It was like a huge blew up moment.
Splash.
Like everybody was after this girl in terms of like trying to figure out who she was.
Yep.
Probably trying to get her to interview, and then it kind of like, So you said you heard that she was still kneeling.
I think at least for the first couple weeks that I was trying to pay attention, I mean, there was just like no mention of it. But that's just a really interesting thing, what can happen to your voice. Because we were pumped because of the timing of her doing it. It was like right after, close to the time that we launched. It was so on point with our Shut Up and Dance episode that we were just like, wow, like, did she listen to it? And we're like, right. No, I mean, no, we're not going to take credit for it. But, you know, if you get that kind of media frenzy, like everybody all over you trying to figure out.
Going viral and just.
Yeah, and then by them not continuing to report on it, it's just basically like, even if she was kneeling every single game to this day, the fact that it's not talked about or wasn't continued to kind of be part of the dialogue just almost like shuts your voice down.
Right, like who shut it down? Is it the organization? Was it the cheerleading squad?
Yeah, what choice did she really have? Like maybe, I mean, I find it very, very interesting. I mean, you can have, if you take that act to protest, you obviously have something that you want to say. You're doing it in a non-violent and like silent demonstration. Mm-hmm. But if you think about it, like, did she want to do interviews? Did she want to give a statement as to where she was coming from and was basically, did she have to shut up? That's what I want to know.
Right.
I'm looking to make sure she makes the squad next year if she freaking auditioned. Not that I'll have like visibility whether she did. Well, maybe. Sometimes they post the finalists.
Track it, yeah.
But I'm really curious what happens to her beyond this season.
Yeah, and I didn't want to like jump on her. We didn't want to like, once she started following us. It was, and maybe we should. You know, we'll keep you guys updated, and you know, if she reaches out to us even. Or back to us, because I'm probably going to reach out. But just to see, like, what has come of it. You know, why did you do it? And was your team supportive? Like, how would it have been if the team all was like, yeah, let's all kneel. You know, we support you.
Or was she just really... I feel like she probably may have been on an island to some extent. You
think it was a last-second decision?
For her?
Yeah, like, in the moment, like, I'm just going to kneel.
I
think she planned.
I think Kayla felt it and then did it. I mean, I think it was definitely. I think she must have deliberated.
Do you think they didn't let her go because they knew a lawsuit would happen
soon
after?
I think they definitely probably had a sense for. I'm sure they just wanted it to die down and go away. Like, yes, the media frenzy happened, but we're just going to.
Because that's the truth.
Yeah.
Okay, even with celebrities making mistakes or saying inappropriate things, like, honestly, just wait it out. Yeah. Because in the next month, somebody else is going to mess up, and no one's going to even remember what you did.
But you know what was missing from the whole dialogue? Now I'm getting a little feist. Okay, let me calm down, drink some.
Yeah, and she didn't mess up. I'm not saying that. But it's just, like, media and, like, social media. It's like, so, like, what's next? What's new? What's fresh?
Yeah, because it changes the dialogue, and then people move on. It's like, where are the players?
Yeah.
Okay, where are the players who were very vocal? I'm thinking like Malcolm Jenkins. I'm thinking freaking, God dang it.
I don't know these people. That
the main guy who were
Colin Kaepernick.
Oh, sorry. I need to eat something. Colin. I mean, where was there any like expression
girl, and
of
just
support.
Yeah,
It could have been
very
like
true.
a fist tweet to, I mean, not that she has a Twitter account that I can think, but something that just says, you know what, we see you, we appreciate you supporting, you know, not even supporting the cause, but just something that acknowledges that she stuck her neck out on the line, which is a little different than you guys sticking your neck out on the line.
We cheer on you cheer for you every game.
Yes.
And you can't just even like, hey, this girl's awesome and
anything
totally support you.
And let's just be real, we can even think about that beyond just Kayla kneeling, but when you think about like the NFL cheerleaders that came forward like all summer long and these articles coming out, not one player has any sort of reaction. Like, that's effed up. Pay the girls, or you know, like any kind of not joining.
They're trying to get their money though too. Think about
True,
that. All the players are fighting for like, oh, you know, don't re-sign the quarterback because now there's less money for me. And
I get it.
That's pretty
it's
ridiculous.
Disappointing. It's disappointing.
Yeah,
it's
totally.
disappointing, especially when you think about some of the inequities and for them to come to light. Even NBA, like, keep it real. I know there's something later in the countdown about NBA, but the players have been silent. I think it's very telling, and I'm disappointed in every single one of you.
Well, I agree.
That's
you know, they're
Mhkeeba
never held
talking,
accountable or expected much of, and they can just say whatever they want and promote whatever they want, and you know.
I just would have had a lot of respect for any player. I don't care if it wasn't like a main. I can't believe I can't.
They already get girls. They don't need to support us
like,
to get.
You know, like
get
I
us.
would have had a lot of respect if a player decided to
For
say,
sure.
you know what, that's not right. Like, we get, you know, millions and millions of dollars. I'd have a lot more respect if I see that coming out of NBA players. You know why? Because, you know, their contracts are more guaranteed. They make a shit ton more money. So it's like one of those people on that roster of an NBA team can just shed a little bit of light to say, you know what, there's no excuse for this. Like,
especially their heads aren't getting bashed in every other weekend. So
they have
you have your whole brain there and functioning. Come on, think a little.
I just think it would actually be nice to get a little bit of acknowledgement. And
just
support.
like, is anybody recognizing what these girls are saying or what they go through?
Yeah.
Like, we see it too. Just respect, recognizing greatness, recognizing greatness.
Thank
know?
you.
That's all it is.
That's all it is. God dang it. Okay, I'm off my tangent. I know I get so spicy.
That's kind of it for that one, huh? We're going to kind of keep you guys posted and see if...
But cheers to her just for coming forward and doing what she believed in. I think
that was really exciting
very good decision for her, and I hope that she's not in any way, indirectly or otherwise, punished for it.
Yeah. Cool.
Kayla, we're going to be watching you. I'm
Yeah.
just kidding, but
she did accept her friend request, so that's a step.
I think that's a step.
But I didn't want to totally jump on her, you know, right when she accepted it, so.
That's, because we're, you know, we're a friendly voice. I don't think we're like media in our minds, right? I mean, we want to cover the topics that cover pro cheerleading, but not, like, I don't want to be treated like a reporter who's trying to, like, I mean, if we want to interview, it's just because we really want to share your voice with everybody else, but we've been on the other side. We know what it's like to, like, have people reach out to you. I mean, it's, you know, when you just kind of either can't talk or not a good idea to talk, or, you know. Yeah,
you can't because it's a conflict with another sponsor.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's a whole other story.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, number 3.
What is it?
It's the Miami Dolphins calendar and the change and shift of their organization overall.
Yes.
So I feel like it's kind of unfortunate that it seems like Kristen Ann Ware kind of missed this boat.
I know.
They totally like almost took her advice and went this very like wholesome, like stripped down in terms of like makeup and like the glamour look.
Like if you go, we'll link it below, but like if you go to their website, all of the bios are black and, or their profile pictures are black and white. The girls are like no makeup. It's just a very, very personal campaign. It's just like, we're just like you. Their Instagram feed is, you know, these long ass messages, posts really, but they're talking about the girls and their virtues and their qualities and like what makes them who they are, like what speaks to their values. And so it's just kind of very different. It's not like any other way of talking about NFL cheerleaders one by one and giving a spotlight on what they believe in. And I thought it was refreshing.
So the whole calendar is black and white too?
No, I mean, we need to buy. Okay,
we do. That was part of what we wanted to even do, like when we were brainstorming before launch, is to get these calendars and kind of do like a not even a review, but just see the angle and the look that they go. We should.
Let's do it. We're gonna, for YouTube, we'll definitely just, that calendar is one I would buy. I hear the Redskins did something somewhat similar.
That's what I'm confusing it with.
Okay.
The Redskins and the Dolphins.
I think the Redskins went this whole sisterhood route too. I mean, I just think there's a shift going on within the NFL where they're really trying to talk about and promote their squads in a different kind of a way. And I think that Miami should have made the countdown because it was a different... I mean, my impression of the Miami Dolphins cheerleaders before they did this, not even with Chris Ann Ware's situation, was just very like... I mean, I saw it in an article and I was like, yes, that nails it. It's like Victoria's Secret models, you know, because they were like drop dead gorgeous. They went this whole like...
Well, Kristen is. I mean, her photos of her at the game was like, oh my gosh,
beautiful.
Stunning. Yeah.
But then, you know, the Miami Dolphins cheerleaders also did like, were the first ones to open up their audition. No, not first, because I believe the Cowboys get a lot of international girls auditioning. But I think they ran like some of their auditions internationally or something
No,
like
I've heard that too.
I think they did something unique. But it was always just like a very broad spectrum of super ultra gorgeous women. And I think Chris Ann said in one of her interviews, it seemed like they were going that route over talent too, in the way that they were picking people. But for them to take this, you know what I would like to see?
What?
Miami Dolphins cheerleaders, to the extent they were influenced by what happened with Chris Ann Ware, wanted to clean up shop, figure this out, and it wasn't just a marketing ploy because they got sued. Invite that woman back to the squad.
Right.
Like, if you cleaned up your house enough to, like, change that culture and that mean girl BS, I'm going to bully you because you're a virgin dynamic. Not to say that she would drop her lawsuit, but it's an extension of just, like, what you're really, really, truly about.
Right.
Because you can stall things out in litigation forever. Like, you can see, like, lawsuits that were filed way back in the 2010, 2011.
They're not closed or done. Yeah.
No, so it's like...
I didn't know that.
And if you drown, you know, people in their resources with their legal counsel, I mean, this can go on, you know, forever. And it's so moot by then. And this is her life as a dancer. And I'm sure she's still... Well, maybe she's like, I'm done. I wouldn't go back.
Yeah, that's true. You don't know where she's coming from.
Yeah. But I mean...
Well, would they invite her to audition?
Oh, true.
Or does she just automatically get added on
to the team? I think it can be an expression of, like, you know what, we learned from this situation. We have made some changes. We really understand where you were coming from. And maybe it's just a part of settling the lawsuit for all we know. I mean, I don't know that she was part of that case where they were saying, if we can just get a meeting with the NFL commissioner, then we will settle the case for $1. Like, we just want to meet with you and talk about these issues and get everything out. Yeah.
Man.
But... You know, I just think it would be a sign of good faith where it's just like, because I keep thinking about these girls' careers. Their dance careers are kind of like cut short because of them standing up for what they believe in, and it's sad to me. But they, you know, there's other things to do with your life. I mean, it's not like you necessarily have to come back to it, but I think she's comfortable based on some of her statements with just kind of like, I did this so that other people can have a better experience, so.
Yeah.
But it would have been nice if she...
And she's doing a lot, and she's very active on her social media, and the things that she's saying is very powerful, so maybe she feels more empowered off the team than on it, even with the changes.
That's true. And that's fair.
Yeah, that is fair, because maybe it'll be like, you know, now you have to set your things to private, and we've talked about that, like, honestly, I kind of agree with a lot of that stuff, because it's a security and, you know, safety precaution, but, you know, maybe she's like, I don't really want to give up what I'm going for now. But I agree. I think they should be like, however you feel about us, or, you know, the lawsuit, you can keep it or whatever, but we just want to let you know that you inspired us to change.
Exactly.
And
I think that would close
it totally would.
I think it gives you
closure. If an organization said that and kind of like, we're sorry you had to experience that, because like you said, maybe they cleaned house even with the people that were doing the interview or their director. I'm not sure, but...
Yeah, some of these people have kept their jobs, but I'm not sure exactly about the Dolphins. I think the Redskins director is still there. I don't remember hearing anything about the Dolphins changing leadership, but I think it would just be a sign of class and you know, just something. But I think it's still a move that's worthy of kind of noting that they took a different direction altogether and stripped down to what they really felt was important, what they really wanted to be about. So
That was cool. And that's
I
why
like
it's
it.
number 3.
Number 3.
Okay, number 2. We're getting close to our end of our countdown as we enter the new year. But there was an NBA article that was super awesome. It was like an extensive research project done by Abby Haglish.
Right.
And basically it was an article outlining and following and interviewing the dancers and their organizations. And it kind of revealed some upsetting and shocking things that we hadn't heard from the NBA before.
Right. And it's just so timely. That's why I'm so happy we did this podcast. I'm sorry to go back to number 5 and stuff.
Number 5 is really number 1, but
we're trying to hide it.
Yeah.
No, but just because it, it was something that when we started this and wanting it to be beyond NFL, but obviously because of all the news articles about the NFL at the time, I was just like, what is it like in the NBA? Is it what we experience or is it different? Are they, a model example of how to treat pro cheerleaders? And I actually really was thinking it's greener.
Yeah.
Even with interviewing Marisha before that article came out, it was like, oh, it is freaking greener over there.
Right.
And then for that article to come out that same week that we were dropping the interview, it was just kind of like,
oh no.
Oh no.
Well, and I think some people reacted kind of negatively to the article.
Yeah.
And I definitely have had my apprehensive, or just wanting to hold back what I really think about the NFL things, because that was not my experience at all.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know I struggled with certain aspects during my career, like the weight or whatever, but when we were at the game, we were talking to some other alumni that were at the game, and they were like, I knew going in that it was going to be tough, that we were going to be dancing outside, that there was going to be a weight requirement, of certain, things that were going to be expected of me, and to then complain about them, it's a little it's kind of a stretch.
So right. You're so right. Because it's kind of if you know about the risks and kind of go in eyes open, to like you said, kind of switch gears and then just kind of woe is me at the end. I mean, and I think the it's not a level of entitlement. I think everybody's entitled to what they're for sure guaranteed by law that they should be receiving in terms of fair treatment, fair pay, etc. But to some extent, it's if you think about dancers who go to New York or LA, nobody's gonna baby you and totally pump you up all day and make you feel like you're the best person ever. Right. A lot of these industries are meant to kind of tear you down and you figure your shit out and you build your own self back up. But it's not there's going to be all this coddling, you know. And so I think maybe it even could be deemed to some extent a generational thing, because a lot of people just took the shit and just dealt with it, adjusted, had their friendships, made it through. I mean, when you think of the years that cheerleading has been in existence, at least in the NFL, it's
35 years.
What about our cheerleading ancestors? A lot of these women were probably part of the squads when it was probably worse, if you think about it. A lot worse.
I've heard crazy stories.
Yeah, so I mean, none of them said anything, and so it's just really interesting. But it is hard when you kind of get a skewed perspective of what it is like. So there's going to be some awesome experiences. People who, have nothing but great things to say about their time in the NFL just because of the opportunities it presented. A lot of people are famous now based on the start that they had dancing, whether NFL or NBA. And so they may have a completely different
experience and
and it's and I think it just needs to be balanced. I think Abby did a great job in her article of just presenting the facts that she gathered, and it was a wide enough variety of teams, 14 different teams. It's not like she just found 3 unhappy people or hella unhappy people on 3 or 5 teams and then just blew it up.
She took her time,
definitely, and tried to get responses from the teams to counter the information that she was receiving. And what she was saying in some of these interviews is just hey, I reached out to them to give them an opportunity to respond, and it was very watered down responses of we value these girls, they're part of the organization. It's the same blurb over and over again, but it's no real teeth to it, no meat behind it. And I just thought from a journalistic perspective that she definitely handled her business and presented the information well, almost dispassionately, but just kind of it's black and white. You didn't pay the girls. And
things definitely need to change.
Yeah.
There's issues. I'm not saying that, there shouldn't be change or improvement, but it's kind of not everybody had an awful time. And I feel sometimes the articles paint that, and then it makes us look even
worse for doing it.
Yeah, it was well, then why do you even do it? You're so dumb. It perpetuates this idea that we're airheads.
And then we're not even making an informed decision of why we're doing it.
Exactly.
And that is tough for girls that are out there on these teams who truly do love what they're doing and maybe dealing with certain aspects of it that aren't great. But when you're, out there as a representative while this heat is coming, attacking your industry and like making it seem like everybody's treated that way, it does put you in a kind of screwy position because you don't know what, you don't want to feel judged. Like that's like somebody judging you for where you choose to work or like, well, why would you want to work for Starbucks? Like, attacking my choice of employment.
Because of their choices or whatever.
Yeah,
but
it's just like, that's not... It just puts you in an awkward position. I just think it's been a rough year for pro cheerleading to some extent. We're calling out some, I hope are considered highlights, but it's just don't stop doing what you love, people. You
just
take
fight for better.
Fight for better. And take what you love about the program and enjoy that, embrace that, celebrate that. If you can be an agent of change on your team where you kind of maybe you're just, stepping up in the leadership role and just saying, approaching your director. I mean, this is daring shit that I don't know that I would have done.
You're so right.
But it's what if you just decide, girl on Team X, that, hey, all these articles speak to a few truths on this squad. Maybe there's some shit that we really should do to try to clean up. You actually have a lot at your, a lot of weight behind you if you decided to say, maybe just as a team, or just maybe you've just been having these conversations offline with your friends, but if you just kind of try to informally gather everybody together to say, everybody has team bonding events,
right?
Yeah,
for sure.
But what if you just kind of step up into a leadership role to say, you know what, if we were to make a list of 3 things that we really just wanted to try to take to management and say, is there another way to deal with X, Y, and Z? Because we have these concerns, we really don't think this is fair. We want to work with you and partner to try to figure out another way of getting at what we're, getting at the issue. I think you have a lot. It's not like you're saying we're going to sue you if you don't do it, but it's just a proactive way of trying to address issues on your team. And I think because of the climate, they're not in a position where they can just be shutting you down. And
they're going to be scared that, oh no, these
next
girls are going to band together.
Exactly.
Maybe we should re-examine certain things that are in their contract or that's going on, or have a conversation with the director or whoever's in charge of these incidents that are happening.
They can't turn their head away from it anymore. I mean, it's you're asking for, and I know it's risky because if you're viewed as a troublemaker or something like that, or somebody who's trying to start
then just blow it up and go to the media and say I was kicked off because I said this isn't okay.
Yeah, and this is
I mean, I would never do that. Honestly, I would just feel fine, if you're going to remove me from the team because I voiced my opinion, you're not the team for me.
You're not the team for me.
And there's not there's plenty out there. You still got to audition and make it.
Right.
But it's kind of
right.
But it's kind of just push it along then, or do something different.
And maybe you pick the low-hanging fruit. Mm-hmm. Nobody should be okay, girls. Nobody should be dancing, performing at events, making appearances if you're not compensated. That's just kind of that's not gray. That's black and white.
Yeah.
So, okay, boom.
You should be paid for everything
what
you're doing.
Do. That's end of story. If anybody's if they're on that okie doke shit and they're not doing that for you, you got a problem. But for the low-hanging fruit, where it's just how we're treated as a team, maybe how we're promoted, or maybe we could try doing something similar. Maybe you're taking ideas from what some of these teams are doing and you're bringing it to your leadership to say, can we try something else? Can we, I think now's the time to raise your voices and just and maybe in a sense of partnership with your team. It's not adversarial. You're just saying I have ideas of how we can make the squad better. Yeah. What do you think about X? Put it in writing in an email so that way you have it documented. But, I just think it's the time for those types of conversations to develop. I think you have a different captive audience now. And I would challenge everybody just to kind of, once you make it back on the team.
I was going to say, don't do it now in the off season. Wait until you're back on the team and a veteran.
Yes,
and could kind of,
I think so. Mm-hmm. I think if there really are systemic issues on your team and that you think some ways of making it better, why not take a leadership role softly and delicately, politically? Just
do your research and go about it in a smart way. But I agree.
Let's do it.
Yeah,
come on, it's 2019, man.
Right.
Let's just change the game.
Change it.
Abby changed the game for NBA.
She did.
Put the spotlight on. Cheers to her.
For sure.
And
you're right. I loved how she approached it, and it was just very, like, matter of fact. Like, these girls are doing this for free. They're dancing at charity events for free, or whatever they're doing. Like, and it's just flat out not okay. It doesn't matter what they're doing.
Right.
Like, no other job would just be like...
I loved her demeanor. It was just very, like, I just stated the facts. Like, what can you say? And she's just like, it's not an issue. These are, like, multi-billion-dollar teams. Like, it's not a lack of resources to... like, just fix it. Duh. And players, get on board. Okay, done fussing again. I'm not an angry, well, I'm not even drunk, but I'm feisty. I already said it. I'm sassy. Yeah, classy. Is that how I describe myself?
Yeah.
Episode 1. Oh my gosh, so that was number 2.
That was number 2, so our final number 1 fireworks.
Boom, boom, boom.
Is... bringing it back from the very beginning, 35 years ago.
The beginning of what?
Cheerleading. The first cheerleading squad in the NFL was the Colts.
Indianapolis Colts. Break it down even further. What was the history of cheerleading before those Colts dancers? Who were the cheerleaders?
It was the dudes.
Male cheerleaders is what started it all, people.
They were the yell leaders.
George Bush was a freaking yell leader.
Was he?
Hell yeah,
he
was.
I didn't know that.
And a little sweater, and a little letter on it, and a megaphone, and all of that. And then what happened? They went to war, and then...
the guys went to war, and so guess who had to pick up the slack for everything, like we always do,
right?
With no reward or anything,
exactly.
Raising the children, all that
you
stuff, and working, was the women.
Indianapolis Colts was the birth of NFL cheerleading as we know it, and they just hit, so it's been 35 years.
35 years. They're like, you want to talk about like the Miami Dolphins and all these teams that are really like trying to make a change, and they are making the launch of their new uniform and just the way they're going about it. And their article was amazing that you sent me.
Oh my gosh.
Like, it was so empowering, and just kind of like these women are leaders in the community and they need to be seen as so, and it was just awesome.
I mean, because let's be real, like what was it, not this last game, but the game before, they did something that I've never seen done before.
It was a little weird. We're also going to be straightforward. Like, I love what they're doing, but some of the stuff's
some of the
weird.
execution's a little, you know, I mean, maybe I would handle it differently, but what sparked it was kind of the game that they allowed their cheerleaders to dress in attire that they would wear to work. So you had a school teacher, and she had like a skirt and a cardigan and a, you know, little blouse.
Glasses, I don't know.
Yeah. And whatever shoes that you would wear with that to dance in on the turf. Like, you danced the whole game in this outfit. There were like engineers that looked like crossing guards, but they weren't. They were just kind of like, I believe this one was a bridge civil engineer.
Oh,
and
that's what I was
like
wondering.
Her vest. Yeah, they had.
It was a reflective vest. So I was like,
yeah, they had a paralegal. She was like in a suit.
Doctors,
nurses, pediatric nurses. Super unique idea, and we're gonna put the links to their performance below. But did you feel it? Like when I watched their dance, it was kind of like extra, like
kind of like I'm representing.
Yes, like it was like I don't even know what they normally look like, but you kind of tell that they were passionate about that performance. Like I mean, because I don't even know how they were doing the dances in some of these outfits, but it just felt like a freedom of expression, and everybody was hella into it, and they just maybe felt like you're seeing me for the first time.
Right.
Like, you're looking at us on the field because, like, what are they wearing?
And didn't they each have a sash that said
their actual,
what they did as their profession? But I was like, what if you don't do anything? What would you dress? Wear a potato sack? A couch potato?
Can I wear the uniform if this is, like, my job?
Yeah.
I mean, that's interesting.
Yeah.
But I just thought it was very bold and attention grabbing. I don't know that it needed a ton of press outside of like the way that the Colts covered it.
Well, this is mean, but I mean, it's not like they look like Halloween costumes. But I was like, oh, are they like doing Halloween in December?
It definitely was a little like a gimmick, a little bit.
Yeah.
But they did have a video. Like their marketing department. I mean, I studied marketing when I was in college. Like on point in terms of partnering with them, so that it's not just like, you know, the cheerleaders trying to make this statement without being supported with messaging around it. So like, you know, they had a video that played in the stadium before they performed as part of that video, so that people understood why they were dressed the way that they were. And then they like also had like a separate promotional video that they have on their YouTube, because what else did they do? They revealed like
the new uniform.
Yeah, I was
gonna say everybody go check out their Instagram, because it's only It's like what, like 12 blocks of just the girl in the uniform, the brand new uniform they launched.
They removed all the other social media posts because they want to change the entire way that they present the girls of their team from here on out. So I guess it's
but like you said,
beginning.
It's like the whole organization backs them. Like their owner was saying these things in the article and saying how they're like, you know, part of the organization.
Yeah,
and they're
do you
really
want to hear the quote?
Read it, yes.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Growing up, we looked up to these women, and now so many little girls continue to look up to these strong women who are physically fit and healthy and really take care of themselves, but also have such amazing compassion for others and have storied careers in their field, said Colts owner and vice chair Kaylin Jackson. So he's all up in the sauce, like really acknowledging that these women are more than just dancers and performers, that they have, you know, a storied background, like we're just with not just their careers. That shouldn't be too much focus on careers, I think, because it's kind of like that is part of you. That it's like it's not like I almost feel like the career angle is almost like, hey, they're not dumb. We have engineers and
right.
I just don't, you know. But it's just the point that they actually are very accomplished in their life in general, in whatever way that you're accomplished. Being a mother is a huge accomplishment. There could be so many other things. So I wish it wasn't super career focused. I don't know what you think, but
yeah, I agree.
But it was a way to get attention, and I think they had like a reunion for the 35 years of being in existence, and I think just seeing all the generations of women that went through their program, they were really seeing that there's some stories to be told and celebrated here. I mean, do you remember the Seahawks reunion?
I do. It
was fun. Talk
One
about
of our
that
last photos that we posted was from that because they found like, you know, it was 40 years.
Yeah. Wait.
What? How could that be true? Wasn't it 40 years?
We were celebrating 40 years of the Seahawks.
Now I'm like, what?
We got to do some math.
Uh-oh.
I think it was like the launch of... Because it was beyond Seagulls. It wasn't just Seagulls, that 40-year thing. I think it was the anniversary of the team as a whole. We're definitely not the first. Okay, the Colts were around before we were.
Yeah.
Hold please while we figure this... We got to do some math. Let's figure this out.
Okay.
Hold please. Okay. Well,
we are back.
We now know that, yes, the Seagulls celebrated a 40-year anniversary, but it was also part of the team because the team had been in existence since 1976. And as part of that 40-year reunion celebration, we also did like a throwback reunion to all of our uniforms and performances of like routines that would have been like pop in during that time. It was really cute.
Yeah, it was fun.
So the Colts did a similar thing, so we were just kind of like, wait, who did it first? But I think because the Indianapolis Colts had moved around a little bit, maybe they were celebrating 35 years in Indianapolis as the Colts.
Regardless, they are making like a big launch and celebration about their tenor, you know, being where they're at.
Yeah.
Yada, yada, yada.
And so as part of that reunion, they realized like they had so many different stories, and they thought that they kind of needed to do a different take on talking about the women of their team. There's some other really cool
quotes from the article.
Yeah. So they said it's going to be a new look with a new uniform, but beyond that, I think it's looking at the program through a different lens and really trying to change some of the traditional stereotypes that have been associated with what or who a professional cheerleader is. We really want to make sure we're telling the stories of these amazing individuals, the fact that they have tremendous careers, whether they're engineers or teachers, that they're passionate about their community, that they're involved in nonprofits and volunteering. We really want those stories to come to life in ways that maybe haven't in the past. So they're really trying to like big up everybody on their team as a whole individual. And then, I mean, even like getting the girls to tune into like a community service passion project, like as part of their season, they actually challenged the girls to raise awareness for a cause that they believed in. And then at the end, they picked a winner, so to speak, and gave them $10,000, I believe it was, towards their cause.
That is so cool because we did something similar. I think we've talked about it before, but it was kind of like just, this is what I'm doing, and this is who I want to bring awareness to, and that was it.
Right.
But like if I would, probably would have gone
crazy
to actually raise money for that cause that I was passionate about. So
Exactly.
that's super cool. It just seems like so much support for the women and what they care about and their backgrounds and
their passions. And then I think there were some other points in this article where they were trying to say that just young girls and like who actually do look up to cheerleaders and say, I want to be a part of that. I want to become an NFL cheerleader, and for it, not to have this cloud of shame or just concern around it because of everything that you've been hearing about. It's just like if someone says, hey Dad, I want to be an NFL cheerleader when I grow up, for him as a father to 110% fully support her wanting to take that route because it is an honorable thing to do as opposed to something like what we've seen where it's like, why would you let your daughter, like that whole negative attitude about it. So trying to change that perspective or perception of NFL cheerleaders, I think it's timely because I think, people should somewhat be concerned about it, but I think there's so much that we can actually do that we're empowered to do to change that perception and that narrative about it. And then did you like this part about like the cheerleader personality and like what does being a cheerleader actually mean, and like taking that and like even exploding upon that to like really highlight the type of people that end up being cheerleaders? And I'm not trying to say that they're the stereotype, but what do you think? Like, what comes to mind when you think cheerleaders? Like, positive? Like, we were talking about that.
I think gorgeous, too.
I do
and
think
there's beauty in all different, types of people, but I don't know if this pertains, but in that article, didn't they say that they want to kind of not take away the magic, but that, like, the uniform kind of isn't special?
Yeah.
Like what all these girls have been told, like, you're only special in the uniform. They're doing the opposite, and we were kind of like, what? We looked at each other, we're like...
Well, because she was like saying like the whole glorification of young girls wanting to wear the uniform one day and trying to put less emphasis on the uniform and more about who's in it. And
I thought that was so cool.
Yeah. What do we think about like the uniform itself?
There's certain aspects that I think are really cute, and I think there's certain aspects which we kind of discussed off mic that it's kind of like, what's wrong with showing a little more skin? It's very covered up. It's a one piece with kind of like a skirt that goes high cut on the thigh, and then it kind of has like these shoulder pads that
it's
are
a very
remnant
full skirt,
of like my wedding dress. I'm like,
It's a very full skirt.
It's full. It's not like the Charger girls. I love their skirt where it's like cute. High cut.
There's a lot of material going on. We'll post a link below, but there's it definitely has like the I was saying Nancy Kerrigan, but like ice skater-ish.
Yeah. The material is very ice skater. It's like a sheeny metallic white, and then there's just like kind of a lot going on. There's like pearls and rhinestones all over the place. And it's full body, so I don't know if they're going to have more than one, and if this is just like their glamour or something.
I think it'll probably be their glamour. Lots of detail, which is nice.
Oh, I get it now. It's horseshoes on the shoulders. Did you just notice that?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Well.
No, right there.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's different, but, I feel like if you want to show your midriff or whatever...
What's wrong with it? I mean,
that's what I'm saying. It's almost like going back to where it's like
what we talked about before, where it's like the more you cover up, the more legitimate somehow you make the costume and uniform.
Like
and I just don't believe in that.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's delicate and it's pretty. I don't love it, but I get.
You would look cute in it though. I was envisioning you in it because they have like these crazy rhinestone with fringe like booties, white booties. And I can just totally see you in it.
See me in that? I wouldn't feel sexy wearing this. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
And so I would have a problem with it. I think the skirt is not flirty enough for my takes, and it just has like a very. This reminds me of like the one-piece Patriots uniforms that are just. It's not like pleated cheerleading skirt, but look how much fabric there is there. Like I'm not in love with it.
And it has like a belt and everything. Let us know your thoughts.
Yeah, let us know, because I mean, it's not like ragging on it. I personally wouldn't like it.
No, I know what you mean.
But but it's a very super cool campaign, and I love that they have the whole entire organization behind the cause. I love that they're trying to talk about cheerleaders being cheerleaders off the field and being like a positive source of energy and encouragement in the people who. Whose lives that you encounter every day. Like, I do kind of think that it's some legitimacy to the thought of like cheerleaders are very outgoing, you know, they're welcoming, they are, I mean, if I think of like a cheerleader personality, I think you are pretty positive, you're energetic, you know, you like people smiling, you like people around you happy, and you kind of have that personality type. And if you take, you know, when you think about the world today and how negative and overwhelmingly negative it is on so many fronts, and if more people were in this, not like being a cheerleader mindset, even, you know, when I search on Twitter for like cheerleader, for different search terms,
what comes up?
Right now in the political climate, it's like they want it for people, it's almost like a derogatory term they use for people who like are like, they're like cheerleaders of, if you're going to be a cheerleader of that cause. So it's like this very like negative connotation associated with it, because you're just backing it. Yeah, you're just backing it for no reason, even though like you don't have any basis for it. And I was like, how did cheerleader become thrown into this freaking mix? Like that's not what I would consider to be like a cheerleader. But I just think it's really exciting to think about them, where they're going to go with this next year, of marketing them in a way that really illustrates their personalities. I think highlighting their careers is a definite step in the right direction to show the depth of the women that make up the team. But, you know, it'll be really, I think they went all out with it.
They did.
All out. Like from the performance to the overhaul on social media to...
And the backing of the organization about, like, just truly wanting to celebrate the women who are part of their organization. I mean, that's so cool. It's really exciting. Like, it caught my eye, and we've been talking about it for a few days now, and so I'm excited to see where they go from here after they launch, because it's going to be for their new season, new team.
I think we're going to see a lot of uniform changes this year. I would bet money on it. I think, you know, I mean, we read the article where they were saying the Redskins cheerleaders had, like, you know, shrank their number of uniforms down to the, like, 8 most conservative ones. I'm not excited about this trend, you know, to kind of cover us up and make, because, look,
it's just perpetuating that we should have been shameful for what we wore in the past, or, like, it wasn't appropriate, and it made people think certain things over other. Like, I think you can do both.
Right.
You can celebrate the woman in the uniform and have a sexy, attractive uniform and woman in it. And why can't they go hand in hand?
Exactly. I cannot agree more.
Yeah.
But they keep saying, you know, it's a new chapter and a new era, and we definitely want to see what they end up doing.
That's cool and exciting.
I'm excited. I mean, you know, I think we'll see possibly some revamping of programs. And there's a lot of history to celebrate, like we were just talking about. It being great if there was more of an attempt to celebrate the history of these cheerleading programs, so that people understand the depth and the evolution of each program. It's a lost opportunity if you don't know the actual history of the program, where you came from, the women that have made up the squads. I mean, that's one thing I will say for the Dallas Cowboys and like I think Minnesota Vikings as well. And, you know, some of the other teams like Redskins that have like a whole web page dedicated to the history of the program. It seems like the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders really like make an effort to kind of connect the alumni with the current program. So it's not like, you know, I'm just on this team right now this year. Like, you're understanding like what legacy you're a part of, and not just like the legacy of like the vets who were on the team before you, when you're like staring at the website like, oh, I want to be on that team, but just like understanding the larger picture. And I think when we were rookies, there was a little bit more of that. I would say you look back at old DVD highlight videos, so you got a sense of like tradition and like what you were really becoming a part of. But they go even a step further, I think, with the Cowboys. Like, they have like an alumni brunch or some sort. They really do.
That's really cool.
Connect everybody.
Well, we were saying that it's like, it's a total missed opportunity, because you just think about the directors that maybe have put in like 20 years.
Yeah.
And just even the funny pictures of those huge pom-poms they used to have. Like, that should just be a part of the page of a lot of the cheerleaders, is just to have like our history.
Right.
And, you know, maybe it'll make everybody else realize that they're truly part of the team.
Right.
And that they should be recognized as such, that they've been here for 40 years too.
Right.
You know, like, how is that not something to be celebrated and recognized?
And feel good about it. It's not like, you know, it takes less emphasis on this, you know, like all of the negativity around what you're doing. It's showing you the rich culture and history of what you're a part of, and makes you feel good about it. We should all feel good about what we do. And for everybody who's listening and aspiring to become an NFL cheerleader, like, pay attention to the teams that you know, want to audition for, and look for look for cues like that of like how they're talking about their girls, like what you really want to identify with and be a part of, and let that be something that influences your decisions.
Yeah.
Because, this is probably a trend that's going to keep up, so we'll have to see where they go with it.
Yeah.
We'll be reporting back. But
Yeah.
I could see their audition process even changing in terms of like what they want to focus and feature and emphasize when they're picking people for their new team, like who fits this new world order.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see how they change it. So that was our countdown,
Oh my
you guys.
gosh. It's a lot of big
5.
stuff, 2018. 2019 is going to be bomb.
Yeah, it is.
So we were going back and forth about locker talk for this episode because once upon a time at Thursday Night Football,
there was an incident. Well, okay, so to be honest, we were at the game last night, and it was a total redemption game. I was nervous to go because it was kind of the similar situation for Thursday Night Football, where it was last minute. We got tickets from Monica again.
Yeah.
And so I was like, hey, I asked my work, hey, can I leave early? I was like super excited. I had just eaten lunch, and so I jetted home. I rode up with my husband. And then it was like, okay, go have fun with Mhkeeba. And we were so excited.
Oh my gosh, we had Lindsay that was also at the game. And so we were just kind of like,
this is awesome.
this is great.
Yeah, the weather was awesome.
Oh yeah, it wasn't too cold.
I was rocking my Pro Cheerleading podcast hoodie. And I felt like super like, oh my gosh, we're going to get free advertisement with me walking around. And
yeah, we were really ready. And just innocently
excited to go to a regular
Right.
season, because I think I went to a few preseason this year, and
it was a huge game. We're playing the Packers, so we're like in it.
And they've changed the stadium, so they've added some awesome new food, like Giselle's chicken and waffles.
Yeah.
I actually don't know what else they have, but they're just really trying to like cater to like a more gourmet menu and all this stuff. And normally the only thing you could get to drink there was beer or like Angry Orchard, right?
Right, which I don't drink.
Yeah, I don't drink beer at all. So I was like, Mhkeeba, when I came for preseason, they have rosé in a can. Are you down? And you're like, yes! And so we went. You can get 2 at a time. So we went twice. So we each
and we
had
were
2
just
cans.
thinking, we don't want to be missing all the action. We're just going to get
Right.
cans to like have on hand. And they're like cans the size of like a Red Bull or something.
Exactly.
And you crack the sucker open and it tastes like a Red Bull, for crying out loud.
It tastes delicious.
It tastes yummy. And next thing you know, we were 2 cans in when we thought, oh, let's get one before halftime, I think it was, maybe, just so that we don't have to go like second half or whatever. Go get our little second 2 cans.
I was feeling fine.
Completely
This is
fine.
kind of like a, public service announcement too. Be careful at the games, okay?
It's called a new pink can. Beware. Beware.
It's delicious and it sneaks up on you. But regardless of that, I don't know what happened, because let's just be true. There's truth behind the Poms.
Yes.
We've traveled together many places. We've gone to Vegas.
We've been
We've gone
everywhere.
to New Orleans. We've been to Philly. We've been to a handful of
Okay.
bachelorette parties. Just
All over
having
the
fun,
place.
right?
Yeah.
And some people seem to think that something was slipped in my drink. So just, if there wasn't, and it was totally just on me, which I'm going to take responsibility for, but that does happen, people, so watch your stuff.
Right.
Because Mhkeeba, I don't know what time it was, because I definitely started to have a lot of fun and kind of not remember things pretty quickly. And it was like,
well, everything was fine. And again, we also have another third party that we want to identify that experienced something similar with these cans of freaking rosé. So we're just going to say that it's the rosé in the can that we should be careful of. But I would say it was like third quarter.
Okay. She was like, I need to go to the bathroom.
Well, you said you needed to go to the
I
bathroom.
did?
Yeah, but it was like a potty break, not like a I feel ill, I need the
Okay.
bathroom moment. So we just like sashay to the bathroom. We didn't like meet me here when you're done or any kind of like
Right, because I was just going to be in and out.
Yeah, so I go to the bathroom, you go to the bathroom, I come out to wait in the little outside area, I start talking shit to a Packers fan.
You did?
Like just kind of, just shooting the shit. And
Was
then
he cute?
It was a woman.
Oh.
And
Was she cute?
Was she cute? No. So I'm talking to her, and then I'm like, well, did Brittany go out the other exit or something? And I was just like, oh, maybe she was just like, you know what, I don't need to hold your hand and walk back to your seat. So I was like, I think I went through the bathroom and called for you, and I didn't hear anything, and so.
Oh, I heard you.
You heard me?
Yes.
okay.
So now we should say what I was doing.
What were you doing, Brittany?
I don't know why, but right when I got to the bathroom, I realized I was going to be sick.
Mm-hmm.
So I was basically sitting on the bathroom seat, getting sick in between my feet.
Okay.
It rhymes. So I heard you go, Brittany, and I was like, ugh. Like I couldn't talk. I felt like I couldn't speak. I couldn't move. Like I couldn't do anything.
You're
and I was
in the
like,
moment.
yeah. And my mind was like, oh my gosh, Brittany, like get yourself together. Your friend's calling for you. Like she's concerned. Okay, then you go away.
I did go away.
And I continually get sick.
Searching for Brittany, the search party. So your husband is there in his, in your season ticket seats, and I just walked back and I was walking around like a little lonely.
How did you feel in this moment? Because we were about the same amount of cans.
I felt very fine. And then because I went back and I think I watched some more of the game. I sipped some more of my can. So I was just like, she's gonna show up any minute.
Yeah.
Then when you didn't show up,
that. I was like, a lot of times like I will.
It's nothing, you know. Like you could have been having a moment, a different kind of moment in the bathroom. Who knows? No judgment. So I'm trying to, give it some time, and then I was like, So I was like, oh, maybe you went and sat up with Anthony. So I go up and I go try to find him, and then and he looked at me like, girl, what you doing with my wife? Like, what do you mean you can't find her? And I was just like, oh, never mind. She just probably. I just really got away real quick.
Yeah,
okay, now I gotta find her because he thinks I lost my best friend. So then I'm like, looking for you. I went back to the bathroom.
You did. I heard, Brittany, are you in there? Are you okay? And I was like, ugh.
And then I go back to the seats.
Mm-hmm.
I probably had a stress drink or two. I can't find her. I don't know what's going on. I didn't think for 2 seconds that you'd be sick. Then Lindsay decides to come down, and I was like, Lindsay, I can't find Brittany. Please help. So she's like, come on, let's go find her. And then I think at some point Anthony told us that he heard from you. What was your phone call in the bathroom?
So I called Anthony, or Anthony called me, I think, and he was like, hey, Mhkeeba's looking for you. Where are you at? And I was like, I'll see you tomorrow. Like, in my mind, I was like, okay, at most, the workers will find me when they clean the bathrooms, but I cannot move right now. I just need to stay the night here. So I was like, babe, I'll see you in the morning. And he was like, what do you mean I'll see you in the morning? Like, where are you? And I'm like, I'm in the bathroom. I just can't. I'm getting sick. I can't move. I don't want to go home. Like, I just want to go to sleep. And he was like, you need to find Mhkeeba.
That's when he reached out and was like, she's in the bathroom. So Lindsay and I approached the bathroom. I look under stalls to look for your feet. I see you, and I'm like peeking through the corner of the slit in the bathroom stall, and I was like, Brittany, and you lifted your head up and your ponytail was cocked to the side, total just makeup all over your face, your mascara was on your cheeks. It was
a little
just
throw up on that hoodie.
Oh
Pro Cheerleading podcast.
Such a gem.
So I don't know. I stood up and I opened the stall and I saw you and Lindsay, and you guys just look like angels about to rescue me.
Save you. No, so we had to clean you up. We had to clean you up.
It's so embarrassing, you guys.
Why are we doing this rocker talk? It gets worse. This is Brittany's moment. I have some updates later. But Brittany is a G because we cleaned you up. Well, Anthony said he had most of the weight on his shoulder.
And he said I look like a hot mess. When I came out of the bathroom, he's like, you look like a hot mess. You had makeup everywhere. You are not coherent. And he knows me too, so he was like, that's why a lot of people think that something else happened to my drink or something. Or maybe I didn't eat enough that day. Something happened because that is not my normal reaction to alcohol. It's probably the rosé.
I think it's the
I need to look at the alcohol content on that because maybe it's more.
I mean, maybe we shouldn't have drank 4.
No, we shouldn't, guys.
But I mean,
learn from our mistakes.
Okay. Well, somebody tested 3 and it was still too much .com. So I just think people.
Sorry, guys. My dog's trying to get in.
Hi, Mocha. So, yes. But you are really impressive because even though, Anthony may have had more of you on his shoulder, I was on one side, he was on the other, and you had your arms around us, and she walked hella far. If anybody knows what it's like to exit a stadium, you have hella time just to get to the damn street.
Right.
And then she walked so far, and it was little Flintstone feet, you were moving your feet and we were just kind of steering you along, but you walked so far to get to the car.
I don't remember that walk, but
I'm glad you
made a few long blocks, right?
Hella long blocks.
From the stadium to Krispy Kreme,
Donut.
Looking a fool in our Pro Cheerleading podcast hoodie. Oh well.
I think you did great.
Okay,
I
thank
know I'm
you.
your best friend, but you did great.
Thank you to
I would've
Lindsay and you for like rescuing me.
We were on duty. We were
Yeah.
just so in the cut, like ready to make sure you were safely to the car. So you get to the car, I walk with Lindsay to her car. She drops me off up the hill. I live right up the hill. I walk upstairs. I remember everything so vividly until I go to the bathroom to use the bathroom. As soon as I stood up from using said bathroom, I apparently just went from 0 to 100 real quick in the drunk as F department. So I have 2 kids, and I usually talk to my kids when I get home. And so apparently I came barreling out of the bathroom, like crashing down the hallway. And my kids are like,
Simone recorded it.
oh my God. My kids were just like, what is actually happening? They thought I was like exaggerating or like playing around, and they've never seen me drunk. This is great.
They got it on recording.
So my daughter just figured I just need to kind of get my phone and put it underneath my mom's chair so she doesn't know.
You said the funniest things because you sent me that video. I think it is now since deleted, so
Thank you
nobody
so
has
much.
access to it
Please.
at all.
Oh
but
my gosh.
the things you were saying, weren't you like, I can't find my CD-ROM. I can't find my CD-ROM.
Oh, because the back to my earring is like the shape of a circle.
Oh, right. It is. Okay, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
it's like it does not make sense. You're so sweet. But like apparently I was taking my earrings off and I dropped one of the backs of my earrings, and I asked my kids like, where's the computer to my computer? And my son goes and brings my laptop, and he's like, you want your computer? And I was like, no! I was like, the computer does.
They
to
were
my
laughing.
computer.
They thought it was so
Oh
funny.
my gosh.
It
My
was so
daughter
funny.
asked me what year she was born, and I said 1995. Like, just all kinds of inaccurate shit. And just really, I called your husband and tried to apologize for losing you.
And like check on me and stuff. And he was
Yes.
like, yeah, she's fine. And then you were like, tortilla chips, you got those? You got those?
She
And
swears by those shits. So the best part of this is waking up in the morning and my daughter coming into my bedroom and saying, I have something to show you. And I was like, what? She gives me her phone and proceeds to play 3 long-ass videos of my antics. And I wouldn't have believed it. If the kids told me that that's how I behaved, I would be like, yeah, right.
yeah.
I wouldn't have believed it. But
It's the rosé. Don't
it's
do
the
it.
rosé.
But we had a great time last night at the game. It
Yeah.
was my redemption game. My redemption game, and I didn't have a drop. And
You stayed away from the rosé.
Yeah, I think there's something in those cans, so just watch out.
Ladies, beware
Yeah.
of the rosé. Hell no, rosé.
Yeah. No.
Unless you're
Not a no. Okay, on the rosé for me.
Yeah. But it was
So,
too funny not to
It
share.
was so funny. We've been
And-
sitting on this story for a little bit.
Like,
but
should we share?
I'm rather embarrassed. If you saw me, give me a shout out that I was like Frankenstein walking through the streets of Seattle after the game. But it was not one of my proudest moments.
Me neither as a mother. I mean, my kids definitely saw a side of me that they haven't before, and they still love me.
Yeah,
I mean,
of course.
You know.
You guys have a great relationship. You're so funny with them, and they just great relationship. You know.
Except my daughter tried to
Believe
blackmail
in
me
it.
with
I know, right? Give me what I want for Christmas, or I'm gonna post this. But leaving it in 2018.
Yes, new
only
beginnings.
good, positive things, and
2019.
better drinks in
Yes.
2019.
Stick with the
Not
bees
too many.
knees.
Yeah,
You know.
exactly.
Rosé.
It's crazy.
All right.
Happy New Year, you guys! Thanks so
Happy
much for
freaking
listening.
New Year. We didn't want you guys to just forget about us, so boom, there it is.
Yep.
A new episode just to, like while you're cleaning house or whatever you're doing for your
Getting
New
ready
Year.
for your celebration.
Writing out your resolutions, whatever.
And we're so excited for the
Launch date.
Yeah, January 16th. We're having Weed Them Boys, which we're going to be interviewing 4 guys in our lives that
Yes.
are just going to give their take on all the topics we've covered in season 1.
Yeah,
So stay
the
tuned.
male perspective, super interesting. I could interview guys all day long. I think it's super interesting. We have a lot to say, and we're going to capture it all for our season launch of
Season 2.
season 2. Is that what I meant to say? Damn it, it's going to be good. You don't want to miss it.
Don't
So,
miss it. Stay tuned.
Happy freaking New Year.
Happy New Year.
Thanks for listening to the Pro Cheerleading Podcast. Please subscribe, leave a comment, or review.
Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, all at Pro Cheerleading Podcast, and also on Twitter at Pro Cheer Podcast.
This is Brittany.
And Mhkeeba. Until next time.
Keep your eyes on the sidelines.